Hi, it's Colleen Taylor from TechCrunch TV. Here with us is Jonathan Klein, the founder and CEO of Getty Images.
Hi, Colleen.
Hi. I just want to ask you about intellectual property on the web. There's a big firestorm about Pinterest and Facebook and all these people who use photos. And how do you guys look at this, and how do you protect your content?
Okay, let's take a step back because you've raised a very big issue. Let's first talk about intellectual property more generally. We are entrusted by our partners and photographers and filmmakers, our contributors, of whom we have 125,000, to make sure that when their imagery is used for commercial purposes, they are paid. And we make sure we do that. We have a lot of sophisticated technology, including visual recognition stuff, as well as watermarks and all the rest of it to make sure we do that. However, as the largest imagery business in the world by a significant margin, it's in our interests for people to be visually literate. So we don't stop consumers playing with our images. We don't stop kids downloading our images to use in school projects or for educational purposes. We don't stop the proliferation of imagery, still all moving. Where we do draw the line is where somebody is generating revenue, commercial revenue, on the back of our image. Good example, we don't let People magazine or their website use our imagery from the Oscars for free, because they're selling advertising around it, they got newsstand sales on it, and of course they've built their business on it. So that's how we sort of differentiate between the use of the image and to what extent we want to be paid, or we're fine for it to be just out there with the public.
And so what is the plan if you see your images on a site like Facebook or a site like Pinterest, which is more early stage and doesn't have the advertising that People does? I mean, how do you guys toe that line?
Well, essentially, we're comfortable with people using our images to build traffic. And at the point in time where they have a business model, they need to have some sort of license to protect themselves and for us to protect our contributors who trust us with their material. I think the difference between us and a lot of other intellectual property businesses or talent-based businesses is that the cost of working with us is relatively modest. So if you want to use a clip from a DreamWorks movie in a commercial, you better have 7 figures. If you want to use our images on your website, it's a very, very different approach. And also, we're very flexible. You can pay us up front and we'll license the imagery to you and you can do various things with it. Or alternatively, we'll say we'll take a revenue share based on the advertising that you get around the image. So we're very flexible that way.
And I know you have pretty significant technology operations, and if you wanted to, you could easily turn off sort of the right-click save to the image that I can do, and it still has the watermark on it, but why have you kind of kept that open?
We've kept that open for one simple reason. We want everybody to be extremely visually literate. It's hard for me to say this to a journalist, and my son's also a journalist, so it's hard for me to say to him, but if people weren't writing words, that would be fine with us. And if we were communicating only visually, that would be fine. Now, we're fortunate that the world is moving that way. We're fortunate that when you can see a 4-year-old on a computer who can't read a word, they know exactly where to click. Those icons are actually pictures. So everybody's become more visually literate, and the success of sites which are very picture-heavy, like Facebook or Pinterest, and the amount of traffic that those sites have, proves that there's a huge attraction in imagery. And we also know that the click-through rate on an image versus a word is 2 to 3 times higher. So we want imagery to be out there. We want people to be able to play with imagery, use imagery, pass imagery around, share imagery, which is why we like some of these new apps, which makes it so easy to do that. So that's why we don't make it hard. However, when somebody's using an image for commercial purposes to build their business or make money, then we say, come on, you got to share that with the intellectual property owner.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Okay, you're most welcome. No problem.